Hello and welcome to Scientifically Speaking. Today we're going to do an in-depth read into the paper that described the mysterious spiral-shaped signals detected in the human brain. I did a video on it a week or two ago, basically stating that I'd made a video called My Crystal Mind, where I had explained that between all the thoughts in your head, there are vortices, and these were the doors. That video has been linked below. That will give you an understanding of the video that I'm talking about. Because on this video, I'm just going to talk about what is contained within this paper, and if there's anything biblical that can relate to what is happening. Okay, mysterious spiral-shaped signals detected in the human brain. There are many layers to the human brain, from its wrinkled exterior to its darkest depths. Now, I've said that the brain is a folded over halo wave, which is why it has so many wrinkles and interconnections. Scientists are trying to understand them all, but in honing in on the brain's intricate neural circuitry, they appear to have overlooked patterns of activity swirling on the surface. A team of fluid physicists from the University of Sydney in Australia and Fudan University in China discovered brain signals rippling across the brain's outermost layer of neural tissue because energy comes from outside. The cerebral cortex. On scans of 100 adult brains, signals naturally arranged as spirals, like vortices in a draining bathtub or whirlwinds of turbulent air. Now what that means is one vortex is going down, transporting down, and one vortex is transporting up. These are classed as positive and negative because it is electrical and wave function. So it is not a draining bathtub or a whirlwind of turbulent air. It is a vortex transportation down or a vortex transporting up. Gaining insights into how the spirals are related to cognitive processing could significantly enhance our understanding of the dynamics and functions of the brain, says senior author Pauline Gong, a physicist at the University of Sydney. The cortex is the wrinkled outer layer of the neuron-dense tissue that folds into the two hemispheres of our brain. So we have two hemispheres, a double helix folded over itself, where they meet at the back and come out of your head as either a single spiral of hair or a double crown spiral of hair. This is because you have two vortices, left and right hemisphere. They exit the back of your head. The two hemispheres of our brain are responsible for computing complex cognitive functions such as language and storing memories. Neuroscientists have focused mostly on mapping brain activity from the bottom up to understand the inner workings of regions like the cortex, imaging cells to determine how they communicate as networks that give rise to their function. In an exciting twist, the team analysed brain imaging data collected as part of the Human Connectome project, using methods most familiar to fluid physicists studying complex wave patterns in turbulent flows. Now, if anybody's been watching my videos for the past 9 years, they will know that my videos are basically about vortex to wave to vortex. I've shown videos of water turbulence, smoke turbulence, plasma turbulence, and everything I state is because God showed me in visions that the universe is made and constructed in a vortex to a wave arrangement. All things, not one is left out, and I've covered literally every living and non-living thing in my videos. Functional MRI scans produce imaging data that shows when and where the brain lights up in a burst of activity, flooded with oxygenated blood. What does God say about that? The energy is in the blood, so energy is rushing there, which also brings oxygenated blood there. And this is what gives it activity. So it is energy that is rushing there, not truly oxygenated blood. The spiraling patterns identified in the data resemble kaleidoscope waves, or, when simplified into directional vortices, circular pressure lines on a weather map. These spiral patterns exhibit intricate and complex dynamics, moving across the brain's surface while rotating around central points known as phase singularities, explains Gong. And I will explain that a cloud moving across the landscape will send down lightning. This is literally what is happening on your brain, as they have just described. Moving across the brain's surface, spiral patterns while rotating around central points known as phase singularities. Much like vortices act in turbulence, the spirals engage in intricate interactions, playing a crucial role in organising the brain's complex activities. I'd like to think of everybody of these vortices as dancing. Do you remember all the old style dancing you would see in Tudor era movies of people doing the circular dancing and weaving in and out of each other, touching hands, spiraling in circles? That's where dancing came from. We all love to spiral. These travelling waves are intriguing enough on a cellular level, especially when you consider how turbulent vortices have also been observed elsewhere in the body and nature. In suspensions of swimming bacteria, biochemical signalling of the heart, and membranes of living cells. Now, what was the information that God gave me for all this? It was that matter conforms to energy. But how whirlpool-like waves may materialise across the cerebral cortex as a whole hadn't been explored until now, leaving a gap in the understanding how brain functions in each of these regions could be connected. And on my video, I'd stated that these were boxes, six-sided boxes with doors on each wall. But I said they weren't doors. I said they were vortices that connected each thought to everything. And this is how I understood everything, because everything is connected. The spiral waves appeared to span multiple networks of interconnected cells and were situated at precise anatomical locations, suggested they may play some role in coordinating brain activity. And I had said these were boxes of information, anatomical locations. And there was a vortex in between to link one whole thought or one word to the next word or to the next thought. This working theory was tested with additional analysis, revealing the brain spirals switched directions to rejig brain activity during language processing and working memory tasks such as listening to stories and answering math problems. One key characteristic of these brain spirals is that they often emerge at the boundaries that separate different functional networks in the brain, explains University of Sydney graduate physicist student Yiben Zhu. So again, we're talking about fully formed ideas with a vortex brain spiral into the next boundary. And these are separate, different functional networks in the brain. Different thoughts must spiral to another thought to keep that thought going and any analysis going. At those locations, the researchers think the rotating spirals may act as a gate, letting brain activity flow through to another region where the spins are opposing, or as a wall blocking it off when they spin the same direction. Through their rotational motion, they effectively coordinate the flow of activity between these networks. And I just said about my experience that my brain, I asked God to be able to look at my thoughts, and suddenly I was in a massive crystal dome the size of the world, extending to all horizons. And each box was a region with a thought or a word or a moving picture in it. And there were gates. I called them doors, and then I laughed because I said, but they're not doors, they're vortices. And I laughed because even to me it was like, this is crazy. I mean, I made the video, I had the vision of it a year, 2-3 years before, but I'd never put it down because it was just, I just thought it was ridiculous and I had no proof of it. But I made the video anyway several years ago. And what do you know? Here is a paper telling us that these vortices connect different parts of the brain, which is exactly what I said God showed me. The findings fit an alternative theory of how complex brain functions arise from the activity of individual cells firing away. The theory suggests wave-like patterns of brain activity are sculpted by the shape of the brain itself, the folds, grooves and contours rather than its interconnections. And I said that the brain is a folded over halo wave with two hemispheres, left and right, for the arms of the double helix. So you have two sides, and at the back of your head, your energy escapes, and you either have one swirl of hair on the back of your head, or you have a double swirl. I myself have 2 swirls of hair on the back of my head. It's quite annoying. I've made a video about that 8 years ago or so, about how that's where your energy exited the back of your head. So matter conforms to energy, and energy moves as a double helix spiral, which is why your brain is a folded over double helix rollover halo wave, which exits the back of your head in a spiral. Neurobiologist Kentaro Takasaki of Tokushima University in Japan, who was not involved in the work, says Gong and colleagues' results also present a stark counterpoint to the columnar hypothesis of the brain, which describes how the cortex is organized into columns of neurons that process information in blocks. However, the fMRI recordings used in the study only captured slow-moving waves of brain activity, so more research is needed to see if similar patterns emerge in faster brain wave oscillations and on higher resolution scans, which of course they will. By unravelling the mysteries of brain activity and uncovering the mechanisms governing its coordination, we are moving closer to unlocking the full potential of understanding cognition and brain function, when really all they actually want to do is be able to read your mind. So, as we've seen in this video, this paper is all about how the brain is interconnected at certain activity levels, and there are definite points between brain cells where there is a vortex, and because God gave me this information in visions, I've now been able to bring it forward. So there we go. Mysterious spiral-shaped signals detected in the human brain, already explained as how the brain works from the video below that I made 3 odd years ago. Thanks very much. You see, everything I've said, the refined sayings that God has given me, have all come true. Energy and matter are separate. Energy attracts matter. Matter covers energy. Energy moves matter. That's your own body. The life is in the blood, and all matter conforms to energy, which is why everything grows in either a spiral of a vortex to a wave, which of course is every flower, every eyeball, every ear, nose, tongue. It's all vortex to wave. Thanks very much. My name is Lee. I follow the Christ. And I'm telling you all the things he showed me in visions in 2014 for 3 weeks, day and night. Didn't sleep for 9 days until a voice said, write it down. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Which was very difficult to try and stop thoughts coming into your head and to actually think nothing, because if ever I thought of something, it would appear and show me how it worked. So I decided to imagine my mind. I said, I want to see my thoughts. I'm suddenly looking up from horizon to horizon, as if I'm on a flat plane with a crystal dome over me. Now, I can see through this crystal, and within this crystal, embedded in the crystal, is every single thing I'd ever seen. And I could view it all. There were also hundreds and thousands of things that I'd never seen. But the best thing about it was I could see that every single door led to every single door. Now, that kind of still happens. I just don't see it that way anymore, because I fully explored my mind to see how everything in the universe was connected, which is what I've been doing for the last 5-6 years. I kind of haven't done a lot in the last 2 years, mainly due to personal circumstances that don't need anything here. But basically, back to the crystal mind. I've never experienced anything like it. It really was quite incredible to be able to look at every single thought as if it was contained in a room 10 foot by 10 foot. So you're looking up at a crystal mind dome that stretched to the horizon. So imagine being on Earth with nothing on the ground except crystal rooms and doorways, and every single door led to every other door. So it wasn't like one room had 6 doors, 4 sides, top and bottom. It's not like that. Wherever the door was, because I'm thinking about it now, and it's as if like there was a vortex between each doorway to another doorway, but then it would show that that doorway led to every single other doorway. I don't know how to, it's like looking at 4-dimensional space when one thing's inside another, which is inside another, which basically comes down to nested Russian dolls, which is how you're constructed, how the planet is constructed, how the solar system is constructed, how the universe is constructed. They've just found out that we have a shell around our entire galaxy. Not just solar system, but now there's a shell around our galaxy that they've discovered. So imagine that in your brain. So my mind was so energized by the spirit that everything was displayed. And I just want to tell everybody that I believe that that's minimum of how much extra energy we have been missing since the beginning of creation. Our brain power based on the electric field we are in. Our level of intelligence and brain usage goes up or down depending on the field that is energizing us.
So that's just an excerpt from the video in the link below. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Bye.